mind getting married anymore. It's not because they hate love or they're against love.
The grass is not greener on the other side. If you're thinking of leaving your man, you've been in this relationship for 10, 20, 30 years.
More women are tending to be the ones who file for divorce, and more women are tending to be the ones that have infidelity.
Dating after you were married fucking sucks. Cause I'm not out here to be your girlfriend.
If you were a stay-at-home mom, you should be receiving a salary from your husband.
Kindly subscribe to the channel as it further supports us in our work. Thank you.
Why are the men so ugly on Hinge? Why are they're so ugly and weird and scary? I can't do it anymore.
Ladies, keep scrolling because this is for my married men out here. And to my married men, your wives are not following me. So I got one quick question for you. Why do men say that they do not reap any benefits from being married? And clearly, I hear this from men that aren't married. But to the ones that are married, do y'all secretly think this? Do y'all secretly think that being married has no benefits to you?
What was the worst financial decision that you made throughout your career?
Oh, man, getting married, man. Getting married, man. My divorce wiped me out. It was terrible. Marriage is a business. I didn't look at it like that. You know, I was one of those sucker for love kind of guys. So I was, I'm in love, you know. It's a business. And if you don't look at it like that, that could be one of the worst financial mistakes you make. I'm being honest, being very blunt. Wiped me out, had to start over from scratch.
More women are tending to be the ones who file for divorce, and more women are tending to be the ones that have infidelity. And what I was just on a call with 4 other therapists that I'm training, and we're all sharing that we're seeing the same trend. And we were talking about how it usually plays out. And typically a woman will ask for what they want and what they need, whether it's more help with the household chores or the kids.
There is a very clear double standard where if a man cheats, it's the man's fault, and where if a woman cheats, it is the man's fault. I have said this before, and I will say it again. There is no excuse for cheating, but I'm going to take it a step further. In today's world and where I live, where most of my audience lives, there are no reasons to cheat. Because nobody's forcing you to stay in a relationship. You can leave whenever you want. So for a woman to choose to cheat, it is just as selfish as when a man decides to cheat. And the bottom line, the truth, is that women benefit from marriage, and they also benefit from divorce. Mix that in with this toxic mindset that a lot of women have due to social media. They are not making the best choices, and there's really nobody else's fault but for them.
I did not have a prenup. I asked for one, and I was told, Ash, I have known you since we were 20 years old. I've watched you build everything. I would never, ever take that from you. And I trusted him. I lost everything that I worked for since I was 17. A lot of my friends were like, Ash, you need a prenup. I mean, I built everything that I have. I didn't come from generational wealth. I didn't come from any type of inheritance. Like, everything that I have, I did it by myself. They're like, you need to protect that. You need to protect that. Like, yeah, okay. He's a great guy. Because people are like, oh, you know, prenups, you're planning the divorce before you're even married. Okay. If you're driving and you wear a seatbelt, you are not wearing a seatbelt with an anticipation to crash. You are wearing a seatbelt in the event that you do crash. And it is the same exact thing. I'm not a woman of regrets, but that is definitely something that I do regret.
This woman sounds like a man because this is exactly how men sound when they bring up the idea of wanting a prenup. Like she said, you don't wear a seatbelt with the anticipation to crash, you wear it in case you do. And she's absolutely right. That's the logic men have been trying to explain for years, but they've been shamed for it, called insecure, unromantic, or accused of not trusting their partner. But look at her now. She didn't get a prenup, and she had to pay tons of money to her ex-husband. Now that the shoe is on the other foot, she finally understands what men have been saying all along, that a prenup isn't about planning for failure. It's about protecting yourself from the unknown. It's not about expecting divorce. It's about preparing for reality. The truth is, when women lose financially, suddenly the narrative changes. Suddenly it's not about trust or love conquering all. It's about being smart, protecting assets.
I decided that I was going to tell him that I wanted a divorce. I texted my therapist, our marriage counselor, and I was like, I need to tell him that I want a divorce, but I want to do it in a session so that there's like a mediator present. Got us in like ASAP, like 2 days later. And I walked in knowing that I was going to ask for a divorce. We sit down in our session. It's like really tense, really awkward. My ex was sitting there like, so why do we have an emergency session? Therapist was like, Jamie, do you want to start? And I just started crying. And I was like, I want a divorce. You know, it's hard for me to like say the words. I'm done. I want a divorce. He sat there quiet. I'm sitting next to him crying. He didn't move. He didn't look at me. He didn't react at all. He just was stone cold. And eventually our therapist was like, would you like to respond? He responded right away. And he's like, fine, let's just go ahead and finalize the details. And that was that. I looked at my therapist and I was just like kind of stunned. I knew that I was ready to leave, but I couldn't believe that that was his reaction. There was no empathy. There was no compassion. There was no like wanting to fight for us. I didn't think that there would be, but you know, you just always hope that like one last try. We went home that night. We didn't speak. He slept on the couch. I woke up and went to work the next day, came home. He was playing PlayStation that night. I sat next to him. We hadn't talked in 24 hours. I said, can we talk about what happened yesterday? And he was just playing, just looking straight ahead. And he was like, what's to talk about? In my mind, I'm thinking, this is our last ditch effort to like steer this ship around, you know? And I was like, so what are we going to do? And he just kept playing. And he was like, I already got an apartment. I already took my name off of the lease. He had done things within that 24 hours. He had opened up the filing folder of his single man life and went ahead and got all this shit done.
What seems to be the issue here? Is this woman mad that her husband gave her the divorce she wanted? It's ironic. She asked for it, but what she really wanted was a reaction, some kind of emotional chase to validate her worth. She wanted him to beg, to fight, to prove he still cared. But instead, he gave her what she asked for, peace. And that silence, that calm response, cut deeper than any argument ever could. She said he didn't move or react when she started doing all that crying. And that's because the man was already done, long before she realized it. See, when a man mentally checks out, there's no coming back. He might stay physically present for a while, but emotionally he's already gone. He's just waiting for her to say the words so he can finally walk away without being blamed for it. That's the part many women don't understand. When a man stops arguing, stops defending himself, and no longer reacts to the drama, that's not indifference. That's exhaustion. That's a man who gave everything he could, only to realize it wasn't enough.
If you see a pretty girl at a bar, at a restaurant, send her a drink or an appetizer. Spend the $10 to impress her. Don't just come over and tell her how pretty she is. We like actions. So send her a drink. Send her an appetizer. Do something nice. Girls like that. Don't just stare at them or be afraid to go talk to them. That's another thing. Girls like aggressive guys, guys that aren't afraid. Well, aggressive in the right kind of way. Aggressive, like polite, chivalry, you know, all those nice things. We like to be wined and dined. I didn't invent it. It's just how it works. So, dating tip for you boys. If you see a pretty girl, send her a drink, send her an appetizer. Do something sweet. We like that. Just don't sit across the bar and stare at her. Please. Anyway, hope you're having a great day. Bye.
I don't think women care about money, height, and appearance as much as guys think they do. I think there are lots of guys who are ugly, who are short, who are broke, that women are very much dating and into because they've maxed out their other attributes. But when you think that way, when you think women only care about those things, you're going into a conversation already being resentful about things that like you don't even know if she cares about. Almost every woman I know at some point has gone on a date with a guy who's rich, tall, and attractive, who didn't ask a single question about her the whole time, or was just overall a horrible person to be around. And so they didn't find them attractive. They didn't get a second date because those things don't carry you into like boyfriend material if you're not already there. Put effort into your appearance. Buy a cologne. Care about your hygiene a lot. Like really take care of yourself and have interests. Ask questions on dates. Get to know women as they are. And I really think you'd have a lot more dating success. And I think a lot of guys think that these things are holding them back, but it's like you're just projecting all of your insecurities onto people. Like most women do not care that much about those things. Those things aren't extremely important. Do they help? Yes. But if you're already a horrible person, those things are going to detract from you as a person. You know what I'm saying? From your overall attractiveness potential.
First of all, ignore everything this woman just said. Second, look at this charm that way. It's the reality, plain and simple. Women say they don't care about superficial things, but their actions tell a different story. If height truly didn't matter, the majority wouldn't be filtering out average height men. And it's not just height. The same pattern applies when it comes to income, lifestyle, and social status. These preferences are built right into dating apps, where women are given the power to select based on conditions that favor the top percentage of men. So when women say, it's not about money or it's not about height, what they really mean is, it's not about money or height, as long as he already has both. That's the contradiction men keep pointing out.
What's something women don't admit, but absolutely all do?
Just wait for it.
Probably hate men.
Well, that's one of the most incorrect assumptions I've ever heard, because contrary to what a lot of you see on social media, most women, in fact, do not hate men. Unfortunately, since misandry has become so normalized by the loud minority, a lot of women are under the false assumption that a lot of other women think the same as them. But that's unfortunately because they hang out and associate only with other women that think in the same way that they do.
Come on, girls. It's okay. If you could pick who you'd be attracted to, all women would be lesbians.
Yeah, no, that's completely inaccurate. Because contrary to what some of these women would like to have you believe, there are quite a few of us women that actually, for multiple reasons, do enjoy the company of men. And I'm sure that I'm going to get called multiple names for saying that. But all I can say to that is whoop-de-doo. If I'm going to get called names for saying things that some individuals don't like, then so be it.
We were talking about whether there should be no-fault divorce or fault divorce. We were also talking about, should there even be marriages today? Kind of, what's your take on some of these issues?
Well, I mean, I love marriage. I've done it a few times. So, that's my thing,
A few times.
And I hate to say, in my younger day, I used to see it as a sport. I got married for sports. I did get married for the wrong reasons because a lot of women, they don't know how to, cash in on a marriage.
Oh,
but I had the formula, so I did it for fun.
Wow. Okay, wait. What is the formula for cashing in on a marriage? Doing marriages for fun.
Cashing in per se, but getting a high value man and getting them to the altar. A lot of women don't know how to do that as pure professional, because a lot of times as professional women, we lead with our education instead of leading with our hearts or with our, sexuality in a way. So a lot of women, they cannot get married to the man they want. And so, I kind of figure out the formula for it. I can teach y'all that want me to, but that'll be another service. But yeah, one thing is with marriages, when you look to marry someone, you also want to see them as someone you can possibly divorce. And in a positive way. Like
wait. Say that again.
When you get married to someone, you want to see them as someone you're able to divorce. As in, you don't want to get married to an asshole and he's going, there's going to through a divorce. Like rape you, I meant to say, through a divorce. You want to get someone that kind of where their heart is, where their mind is. So if things should go left, you don't have to worry about turning into a vicious kind of person, even though things do happen. But yes, all of the husbands I married, I kind of figured it would be an easy divorce because I knew they were decent men to, begin with.
I didn't know more of this.
A woman that divorces men as a sport. Is this even surprising anymore? How many times have we seen this? A couple gets married, and within 3 months the divorce papers are filed, and 9 times out of 10, it's the woman initiating it. It's like marriage has become a game for some of them, something to experience, post about, and then walk away from when the thrill fades. A woman who says that when you look to marry someone, you should see them as someone to divorce is not preparing for a lifelong commitment. She's preparing for an exit strategy. That's not love. That's business. And business is how the majority of women today see marriage. Men have got to do the same. Treat it as business or avoid it altogether. Because today, most of the time, it's not about love anymore.